Okay? Let us start. Good morning once again. Section 1. So let us have our lecture on the fluid and electrolyte imbalances. So we will start with fluid imbalances and then after that yung ating electrolyte imbalances. So sige, so let's start. Pwedeng pwedeng magtanong anytime.
Let us now discuss the different fluids and electrolyte imbalances. Okay, let us start off with the different fluid volume deficit. Okay, fluid volume deficit occurs when the fluid intake of the body is not sufficient to meet the fluid needs of the body.
Mina
When we
talaga
say
yan.
deficit, it's kulang. Okay, so ibig sabihin may kulang yung fluid intake natin. Now, our goal of treatment is to restore volume, replace the electrolytes as needed. So, kasama na fluid losses natin are also electrolyte losses, and eliminate the cause of the fluid volume deficit. Because if we fail to do so, okay, so whatever the cause of the fluid volume deficit that we have to stop it. Or else, walang mangyayari. Okay, so whatever, what do you call this, intervention that we will be doing will all be, what do you call this, useless. Okay, if we do not find the definite cause of the deficit. All right. So, what are the different types of fluid volume deficits? We have actually three types. Okay, let's start with the first one, isotonic dehydration. So, in the review of anatomy, we discussed about the different three types of fluids. So, isotonic, hypo, and hypertonic fluids. Now, the first one that we will be discussing is all about isotonic dehydration. So, in isotonic dehydration, water and the dissolved electrolytes are lost in equal proportions. So when say isotonics, this is the same fluids, di ba? Kapag if you speak of the different IV fluids, so kapareho ng bodily fluids natin. So, ano yung may problema sa isotonic dehydration? Both water and the dissolved electrolytes. The water and the solutes are lost in equal proportions. So this is known as hypovolemia. So isotonic dehydration is also known as hypovolemia. This is the most common type of dehydration that we encounter rather in the clinics. So this results in decreased circulating blood volume and inadequate tissue perfusion. So like what I have said in the previous slide, we have to know the exact cause of the deficit so that we can appropriately or correctly manage the condition. Okay, another type is hypertonic dehydration wherein water loss exceeds the electrolyte loss. Kanina equal, okay? Equal yung water and electrolyte loss. In hypertonic dehydration, ang nawawala is tubig. Okay? The solvent. Okay, so water loss exceeds the electrolyte loss. So this results from alterations in the concentration of specific plasma electrolytes. So what happens is that fluid moves from the intracellular compartment going into the plasma and the so this causes cellular dehydration and shrinkage. Now because of this water loss, okay, lumalabas yung tubig, okay, from the intracellular space. Okay, so from the intracellular, lumalabas papunta sa plasma or the interstitial fluid spaces. So again, cellular dehydration takes place. So what will happen? Mawawalan ng plasma, liliit yung cell. So this causes also cellular shrinkage. And then the third one is hypotonic dehydration, wherein electrolyte loss exceeds water loss. So, ang nawawala are the electrolytes. Okay. So, this results from fluid shifts between compartments, causing a decrease in the plasma volume. So, plasma naman ang nababawasan. The fluid moves from the plasma and the interstitial fluid spaces, going into the intracellular compartment, which causes a plasma volume deficit, and it causes the cell. Okay, papasok naman yung tubig from the plasma in the interstitial space papasok sa cells. So what are the different causes of the fluid volume deficits that we have characterized in the previous slide? Okay, the first one, so isotonic dehydration. So number one, the first probable cause is an inadequate intake of fluids and solutes. So another one is fluid shifts between compartments and excessive losses of isotonic body fluids. For hypertonic dehydration, so all of these all conditions rather, that increases fluid loss are the common causes for hypertonic dehydration. What are these? Excessive perspiration. So when we exercise, we run, or we are exposed to extreme heat, okay? Patients who are having anxiety attack, okay? Hyperventilation due to a respiratory problem, okay? Whatever possible cause or causes of hyperventilation. So, di ba yung pag hinihingal tayo, yung the reason why we have to make use of the brown bag. So, that's hyperventilation, yung mabilis yung paghinga natin. So, kailan ba yan? Pag natatakot tayo, we're under a lot of stress. Right? O yun nga, if I have mentioned, kung meron problema sa respiratory tract ng pasyente natin. Another one is ketoacidosis, which is commonly seen in patients with diabetes mellitus, prolonged fever, okay, for whatever cause, basta nilagnat. Yeah, so dito pumapasok yung diarrhea. Okay? So, what type of dehydration? Alam natin that a patient with diarrhea can have or can lead. Alam natin yan, matik na yan. Sabi natin, di ba, na pag nagda-diarrhea, pwedeng ma-dehydrate yung pasyente. That's the reason why we have to replace volume per volume the fluid and electrolyte loss. Okay, so sa pagpupo ng pasyente. But now, alam na ninyo, na meron different types of dehydration. So, it's hypertonic dehydration. Okay, so wala yung tubig. Okay. What else? Early, I know you'll be having your endocrine disorders next semester, so konti pa happy out. In patients with diabetes insipidus, ang nagiging problema here is that yung anti-diuretic hormone, the ADH or vasopressin, diba? Ano ang function ni vasopressin or the anti-diuretic hormone? So this hormone control via the kidneys. Okay, so in patients with diabetes insipidus, what you can expect here is that these patients will be having voluminous urine. Okay, madami siyang iniihi. Why? Kasi yung posterior pituitary, remember anatomy, there are only two hormones that are being stored in the posterior pituitary, ADH or vasopressin or antidiuretic hormone or vasopressin and oxytocin. Remember that? Okay. So the posterior pituitary gland fails to release antidiuretic hormone. So what will happen? Antidiuresis is urination. Anti-wee-wee, as I always 100 ml to 1,200 ml per day. Okay? Per hour, we are supposed to form urine at the rate of about 30 to 50 ml per hour. Okay, please take note of that. Not just take note, memorize by heart. 30 to 50 ml of of urine per hour, and 800 to 1,000 ml per day. That's the normal urine output for 24 hours. Okay, in patients with DI or diabetes insipidus, the patient is having more than, more than 1,200 ml. Eh ma'am, what if po uminom na maraming tubig? Then, again, pwedeng tumaas. Okay, yung urine output kasi you have extra fluid intake. Okay, so lalo na, sabi mo, paano pag umiinom ng buko? Okay, it's a diuretic, pampaihi. So, ito yung normal pa rin yung water intake ng pasyente natin. But then, mas maraming fluid loss. Is diabetes insipidus. Okay, next is for hypotonic dehydration naman. So this is brought about by any chronic illness, excessive fluid replacement, so high using of your hypotonic IV fluids, kidney disease. Remember, magkaiba yan. Early stage kidney disease, yung hypertonic dehydration. Ito na yung mga CKD, chronic kidney disease leading to CRF or chronic renal failure. You will be discussing that in your, when you discuss urinary tract malnutrition. All right, so those are the different causes for each of the types of dehydration that we have. Okay, so ano ang assessment findings? What are the expected findings natin? So for fluid volume deficit muna tayo. For fluid volume deficit, kulang. Okay? So patients will be having a cardiovascular problems like a steady increased pulse, mabilis na pulse rate, okay? A decrease na blood pressure and orthostatic hypertension, yung hypotension, okay? So yung mga sudden changes in position, bigla siyang nahihilo, and a decreasing blood pressure, flat neck and hand veins in a dependent position, diminished peripheral pulses, mahina or mahina yung peripheral pulse, may pulso pero mahina, okay? Decreased central venous pressure, CVP, and dysrhythmias. Okay? For respiratory manifestations, you have increased rate and depth of respiration. So, increased pulse rate, increased RR, pati yung depth, yung lalim. And then there can also be dyspnea. Okay, nahihirapang huminga yung pasyente because of the fluid shift. Okay, neuromuscular manifestations, you have a decreased CNS activity from lethargy to coma. What else? Fever. So depending on the amount of fluid loss. That is not actually fever as in fever per se. Okay, so tumataas yung body temperature.
So,
Why? Walang
hyperthermia.
nagre-regulate. Remember your anatomy? Now, if the core body temperature increases, so what happens to the skin, to the integumentary system? Okay, it will stimulate the sweat glands, okay, to produce sweat para ilabas through the skin, through the pores on our skin. And in the process of dehydration, evaporation rather, mag-evaporate yung fluid. Kasama dun yung heat. Wala ng tubig. So, pati sweat formation will be affected and skeletal muscle weakness as well. Okay, so nandito na rin lang naka-project. So, opposite lang naman, okay? Yung manifestations or assessment findings of fluid volume deficit and excess. So, look at the other side. Okay, for fluid volume deficit, if you have kung sabing mahina, okay? Mahina siya pero mabilis, okay, ang pulse rate. Anong opposite ng steady? Bounding pulse. Yung halos nakakapit ka pa lang, hindi masyadong madiin yung kapit mo doon sa pulso, yun na agad, okay? Yung pulsation. So, bounding increased pulse rate, an increase rather, pulse rate, an elevated blood pressure, kasi sobra so there's fluid excess. So, what will happen? So, bibilisan or lalakasan rather ng mga arteries yung pag-pump ng blood. Kasi, teka, ang daming tubig. So, di ba, parang pag nagbabaha, so yan, mabilis yung pagdaloy ng tubig. So, ganun din sa blood pressure, sa blood pressure, At sa kabila, distended neck veins and hand veins naman for excess. Elevated central venous pressure. So measurement of the CVP will be discussed sa skills. And then there's dysrhythmia. Okay? So dysrhythmia, pareho sila. Okay? Pareho. So may parehong may dysrhythmias. Okay? So what are may dysrhythmias? So there's an abnormal pag nawawala yung normal rhythm, no? Else, for the respiratory assessment, so there's an increase in the respiratory rate. So kung deep respirations sa deficit, shallow naman, yung mabilis pero mababaw yung paghinga. There's also dyspnea, and for excess, meron tayong pulmonary congestion. So when you auscultate on the patient, may crackles. I hope you still remember your health assessment. So when you try to rub your hair, several strands of your hair in front of your ears, yung parang crackling sound, that's crackles, okay? Moist crackles. For neuromuscular, this altered level of consciousness also, headache, visual disturbances, skeletal muscle weakness, and paresthesia. Ano yung paresthesia? Yung sensation of pinpricks, parang namamanhid. Okay, so that is for deficit and excess. Hindi yung excess yung sa kanan. Renal manifestations. So the patient may have a decrease in urine output, of course, dehydrated yung pasyente natin. Sa kabila, increase urine output. Now, if the kidneys can compensate. Now, for patients with chronic renal failure already, so yun yung sabi ko sa inyo kanina, okay, for hypotonic dehydration, increase urine output na. Okay, for chronic renal failure patients natin. For integumentary manifestations, patient with deficit fluid may dry skin, of course. Okay, poor skin turgor and or tenting, okay, dry mouth. So I know you know how to check for the skin turgor already. Okay. For excess naman, there's peaking edema on the dependent areas, a pale, cool skin. 90s. So, nagkakaroon ng peaking edema. Why? Okay, may excess. So, some of the fluid, okay, will escape the blood vessel. So, from the intravascular, the fluid will go in the interstitial spaces. So, kaya yung iba na pupunta rin sa lungs, di ba? Kaya nagkakaroon ng crackles. So, there's pulmonary congestion. GI manifestations for deficit, we have decreased motility of the GI tract and a diminished vowel sounds. Ano ulit yung normal vowel sounds? 5 to 20 vowel sounds per minute. But again, hindi na ipilang yan talaga. Okay? So, decreased motility and decreased vowel sounds, constipation, thirst, and a decrease in the body weight. So, of course, may constipation yan. And madaling mauhaw. So that's one of the manifestations for dehydration, increased thirst. Okay. For fluid volume, sorry for that, fluid volume excess naman, so sobra. Okay, so there's an increased motility in the GIT, diarrhea naman, kabaliktaran ni constipation. So, bakit ulit nagko-constipate? Nawala na yung tubig sa intestines. Okay, so, kulang nga eh. Kulang yung tubig ng pasyente, so constipated. Alright, diarrhea for excess, increased body weight because of fluid retention, liver enlargement, so there's hepatic congestion, okay? Liver enlargement, or hepatomegaly, and ascites. Ascites is fluid accumulation in the peritoneal cavity. Okay. Lab findings for deficit, there's increased serum osmolality or concentration of the blood, increased hematocrit, increased BUN, or the blood urea nitrogen level, increased serum sodium level, increased urinary specific gravity. Okay? Yung level. Why? So yung solutes, these are the solutes, okay? So, kulang ka sa tubig eh. So, nag-increase lahat niyang solute levels na yan. So, for deficit, for excess rather, nasa right side of your screen, kabaliktaran naman. So, there's decreased serum osmolality, meaning there's hemodilution, decreased hematocrit, decreased BUN level, decreased serum sodium level, and decreased urine specific gravity. So, there's a reason why kapag medyo yung mga pasyenteng medyo slightly elevated yung blood urea nitrogen level, wag agad matakot. Okay? So, yung BUN kasi is gives us a picture of the renal function. Okay? So, wag kanyo matakot dahil baka mamaya yung tumataas yung blood urea nitrogen, BUN, baka kulang lang siya sa tubig. So, we can tell the patient to increase his or her fluid intake. Okay? So, baka na-dehydrate lang siya. Alright, so yan yun ha, for the lab findings natin. Okay, what are the interventions? So, monitors, as you have seen. So, classify natin based on the system, yung mga assessment findings. That monitor cardiovascular, respite, neuro-renal, intake, and gastrointestinal status of your patient. So, remember how we are still on the deficit. Diniscuss ko na lang yung manifestations ng excess. Kabaligtaran lang naman sila. Provide oral rehydration therapy if possible. Kung kayang uminom ng pasyente, good. Okay? Mas maganda yon. Okay, so yung Orisol natin, I think sa CHN ninyo, you were taught on how to, kung walang mabili na Orisol, or yung mga Pedialyte for the bata, for the babies, for the kids, you can do your own oral, your Orisol, okay, oral rehydration solution sa bahay. Okay. IV fluid replacement if the dehydration is severe. So, kailangan sweruhan, but monitor the intake and the output of your patient.
Okay. Sorry. Dagdag ko lang dun sa Orisol. Ito yung mahirap pag in-out ko. Okay, dagdag ko lang dun sa Orisol. At saka dun sa for electrolyte replacement. Hindi basta-basta nagpapainom ng Gatorade ha. Ang Gatorade, bawal pa yan sa mga bata. Okay, so if the child is less than 12 years old, hindi nyo pa siya pwedeng bigyan. Let's say, nagtatae, di ba? Oops, nagtatae. Bawal pa na i-Gatorade. So, yung mga Pedialyte, Cholite, or the Orisol, yan ang pwedeng ibigay sa kanila. Okay? Pocari Sweat is another one. Okay, so maganda rin si Pocari Sweat natin. Okay? O, islan siya. Ayan. Nasaan na ako? Wala, nakalimutan ko na. Isotonic, hyper. Saan na tayo? Hala, hindi ko nating na nasaan na tayo. Wait lang. Ito. Ito ba yun? Here. Naku. Okay, let's start again.
Okay, what are the interventions? So, monitors, as you have seen, so classify natin based on the system, yung mga assessment findings, that monitor cardiovascular, respite, neuro, renal, intake, and gastrointestinal status of your patient. So, remember how we are still on the deficit. Diniscuss ko na lang yung manifestations ng excess kasi kabaligtaran lang naman sila. Provide oral rehydration therapy if possible. Kung kayang uminom ng pasyente, good. Okay? Mas maganda yon. Okay, so yung Orisol natin, I think sa CHN ninyo, you were taught on how to, kung walang mabili na Orisol, or yung mga Pedialyte for the bata, for the babies, for the kids, you can do your own oral, your Orisol. Okay, oral rehydration solution sa bahay. Okay, IV fluid replacement if the dehydration is severe. So, kailangan sweruhan, but monitor the intake and the output of your patient. Okay, for isotonic dehydration, of course, you treat the patient using isotonic fluids. Okay, hyperton, may example niya mga isotonic fluids natin, yung mga D5 water. So, yung mga walang dextrose. Okay? So, those are isotonic IV fluids. Okay? 0.9 sodium chloride. Okay, yung plain NSS. Yan. So, what else? Hypertonic dehydration. Okay? Palitan ng, of course, hypotonic. So, baligtad ha, pakitingin ha. Remember, hypertonic dehydration. So, anong gagawin mo? Kailangan ninyo ng magbigay ng extra fluids. So, ano ulit? Yung hypertonic dehydration. Di ba? Ano yung sinabi natin kanina? Mas marami yung water loss. Okay? Pag hypertonic dehydration. Maraming water loss. Bakit siya tinatawag na hypertonic dehydration? Nawawala ng tubig, ang natitira are the solutes. Okay? So, the blood becomes concentrated. So, ano ang dapat na type ng fluid na ibibigay natin? So, fluids that has more water in it. Okay, so ano naman yung hypotonic dehydration ulit? So kung si hypertonic dehydration, there's more water loss. So expected dito, yung solutes are elevated, particularly sodium. Okay, pag hypotonic dehydration, diluted naman yung blood. So what will happen is that mas maraming nawawala na solutes. Okay, so you treat hypotonic dehydration for whatever cause with hypertonic fluid solutions. Okay, konting review. What are the three types of IV fluids that we can give? Of course, you have the isotonic fluids. Pag sinabing isotonic fluids, these are fluids or solutions that contains the same number of solute and solvent. Same with that of the plasma. Okay? Pag sinabi namang hypotonic solutions, so they have lesser concentration of solutes than the plasma. Ulit, solute and solvent. Solutes are the dissolved substances, di ba? Solvent, yun yung dissolving medium. So in hypotonic solutions, they have less solutes than the plasma. Hypertonic naman contains greater concentration of solutes than the plasma. Kaya kapag meron tayong hypertonic dehydration, ano ang nawawala? Water. So, bibigyan natin ng hypotonic fluids. Why? Kasi mas konti yung solutes nun, mas maraming water. Do you get that? Okay? Iba yung dehydration, that's a condition na meron yung pasyente, anong fluids ang ibibigay nyo. So, kung nawalan ka ng tubig, therefore, bibigyan natin ng tubig. Ma'am, pwede bang ibigay yung isotonic? Pwede rin kung walang available na hypotonic solutions. Okay? But ideally, we give hypotonic solution kasi mas marami siyang water than solutes. For hypotonic dehydration naman, so, what do you call this? Ang nawawala naman ay ang solutes natin. So, therefore, bigyan natin ng hypertonic IV fluids. Why? Kasi nga, yung hypertonic fluids natin contains more solutes. Okay? So, do you get that, ha? Wag malilito dun sa dalawa. So, what are some of the examples? I think, in-include ko to dun sa review of anatomy. Okay, examples ng isotonic solutions, yung swero natin. So, like what I have said, yung 0.9 sodium chloride, that's same with the normal saline solution or your plain NSS, D5 water, LR, okay, dextrose D5LR, that's isotonic. What else? So yung Ringer solutions, yan. So those are the isotonic IV fluids, D5LR, D5 water, 0.9 sodium chloride. Alright. Hypotonic naman, hypotonic IV fluids, 0.45 sodium chloride. Okay. What else? Ito hindi masyadong common. 0.33 sodium chloride. Basta yung mga less than 0.9. Okay, sodium chloride. What else? Baka may makita kayo 2.5% dextrose in water or D2.5 water. Okay? So, yan yung hypotonic. So, ang pinaka-common dyan is 0.45 sodium chloride. Okay? Then the rest, yung mga nakikita ninyo, hypertonic solutions na. So yung D10 water, the D10W, D20W, D15 water, so may yan D50-50,